are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate.
Monday, you already know we do this every Monday at 8 p.m. What are we talking about tonight? Tonight we're going to be talking about what would it be like if I had to start all over in 2026. For that, we got our dude, Money Mizike. I'm bringing him on. Whoa, Money Mike. Camera froze on me. All right, man. When you get back in, just give me a thumbs up. Real quick, I'll start going through some comments. All right, he's already coming in. I'll bring him in here in just a second. Going through some comments. We got Drippy. Had to hit that like button before I jumped in. QBN fam, what's going on? Number love, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We're going to have a nice little talk tonight. Insaratha, good evening, everybody. We got Dracula in the house. We got Nadies. What's happening, fam? Nice to get together. You got it. We got Flamingo Ape Bullies. Yo, Raul, keep doing what you do. Thank you, sir. Christina Higginson. Hello, family. How's it going, young lady? And we got Nadies XLs. That's right. Let me bring in Money Mizike. Money Mike. What's up, bro?
Man,
love the background change, man. I like you switching it up on me. I love it,
thing
man.
Going on today, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, it's all good,
cold,
man.
It's cold in Arkansas today.
Hey, it's cold in Texas too, bro. Let me just
got down to about 19 today.
Oof, well, we didn't get down that low, but let's just put it this way: it was about 2 o'clock and it was 54. So for us, that's freezing weather over here, man. Let's see. We got Prate King Bullies. Good evening, Bully fam. What's up, Prate King? Yes, sir. Leocadio Vasquez. What's good, fam? Happy Monday. Let's do this. I need to get better at prepping in 2026. I have 3 dogs or more. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Flamingo is crazy. All right. And 3 dogs now, says Liz Moore. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is what will we do, right? And Mike, you know, you're the newer one amongst us. So I want your insight, right? But if I had to start all over again today, now, mind you, let me give you a little background on me, right? Just a little bit. I went ahead and pivoted about actually over a year and a half ago now, right? I made a pivot. Okay, so I was breeding XLs, and I was breeding XLs off of this line right here with my girl, Aruba, our boy Fireball. Okay, I know he's a classic, but he was producing XLs. You know, we got all the way to triple champion 305 right here, champion in the ABKC, UKC, and also USBR. In fact, he was ranked in the top 10 for the UKC in order to go for their nationals, but for whatever reason, we couldn't get him in time. But you could see the line of dogs that we were coming along and producing. However, I felt that we needed more breed type in the head, which, by the way, I like Congo's head. I really do. But shorter, wider muzzle, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the bigger head on the body. And thus, we made a pivot, okay? One of the first pivots, or one of the first dogs on board, was our girl, Champion Sunshine, by the way. She champed out at 6 months, 17 days. Shout out to Devin. She's the one that had shown her, and Sunshine did phenomenal. We also brought in our girl, who we recently bred to Hector. Okay, and a lot of the puppy videos that you're seeing running around and whatnot is those pups off of that litter. Okay, and I'm saying all that to say that I pivoted a year and a half ago.
Let's get a couple look at those pups.
Well, I would, but I didn't really up. I got these pictures of the pups, but I haven't upped any recent pictures of them.
I was watching your new pack video today, and I really like the way those pups are looking, man, and interacting with the pack. Is really neat.
Well, I appreciate it. You know what? We're going to jump into that video. a little bit later on, just remind me, Mike. I definitely like to bring it up on YouTube. But the reason that I'm bringing up that I pivoted a year and a half ago and why I think it's important to this conversation is because I'm not far off from having pivoted, is what I'm trying to get at. Mm-hmm. So when you ask me, if you had to start all over again, what would you do? That's the conversation that we're about to have here tonight. So we're gonna do things a little bit different tonight. Tonight I'm gonna ask for Mike's opinion. All right. By the way, they're asking about your puppies, Mike. Prater King bullies.
Well, I've got one left from the People's Litter. He's doing great. He's been named
Good.
for the time being until he finds a home. We've started calling him Brisket. But if you go to the Creekbank Kennel, yeah, if you go to the Creekbank Kennel page on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, you can see a lot of the homes these different pups went to. It's been an amazing experience. We've got Freya right now, aka Big Mama. She looks more like a cow than a bully right now. She is huge. I find out tomorrow at 3:30 with an X-ray how many she's got in there. And so we're just a week away on pups on that. We're real excited.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. Freya, along with our girl Ali, they both hold a special place in my heart. Not only are they 5th generation QBN blood, but they're also keeping my boy Power's legend going, right? Those are the 2 dogs. Actually, Pressure too. Pressure is a grandchild to Power as well. But those dogs right there are definitely keeping his legacy going. So it means a lot.
We bred her to the same male that you just showed a second ago.
Yeah, Hector.
Hector El Oso that girl went into. Yep. Excellent, man. Inserata saying, I hope you combine your original line with your new stuff. I just love the original dogs. Thank you, Inserata. Nothing against the new ones. The old ones just have a spot in my heart. I hear you. They will forever hold the spot. Blueberry's the cutest. You can tell he's got personality. Let me just tell you, Blueberry has got to be the funniest dog I've ever been associated with. Literally, you're around him and you're seeing the rest of the dogs and you can't help but start cracking up. He's a character, man.
The way he goes about everything, he's not an alpha. He doesn't want to impose anything on anybody. Doesn't want to step on anybody's toes. He'll actually let everybody get ahead of him, and he'll kind of figure out what's going on. And if it's a good treat, then he'll figure out how to get at the front. It's just funny how he goes about, with his life. Okay, Flamingo says, I love Fireball, man. Let me tell you something about Fireball. He recently, we bred him to Blueberry's sister. Unfortunately, she didn't take. We're going to repeat that breeding. But this boy right here, I got to get something off of him before his time is up. He's coming up on 9 years old. He's looking very, very young for his 9 years, and he's producing sperm at ridiculous numbers for his age. I really couldn't be any happier. Christina's saying, QBNK, Freya, yeah, she's a big girl. Yeah, she is, most definitely. You know, now that we're mentioning Freya, one of the things that needs to be asked, Mike, and today, like I said, I keep side swiping myself on this one, but we're going to go with what you say, what I say, and also what the wheel says. Yes, what the wheel says. So tonight we're going to be spinning this wheel. There's going to be prizes flying around. All right.
I love it.
So, Money Mizak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Money Mizak. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I could care less which way you go with it. I already got a pre-made up answer in my head. But I need to ask you, if you were to start all over again, would you be starting with a female or a male in 2026? Why either?
Well, me personally, I've got a farm here. I've got some land here, got plenty of room for the dogs. So I'm not in any kind of space restriction. So I would definitely be starting with a female. And why? Besides that is because I feel like if I select a female that has the breed type and
the pedigrees that I'm interested in, the lineage that I'm interested in, and what I'm actually looking at in front of me, between phenotype and health testing, man, where the dog is on point, then I know I can select the right male to bring in what I want that I don't have, and I'm already on my way. Whereas with a male, you're playing the opposite end of that game, and I prefer it in my situation to start with a female.
So how would you start it? You started with one female, two females.
Ideally, I'd like to have more than one. Yes, sir.
So how many? Give me a number.
I think if money was no object, you could start where you want. It'd be nice to have 3 or 4 females. That way you
and
can,
no males, or have a male around.
If I could have an in-house stud that met my qualifications, I think it'd be a great idea to have one in-house.
Okay.
Yep, because I've dealt with this firsthand, nowhere near as many times as you have, but it's already been a headache to anybody that's dealt with it knows that getting semen shipped and getting it on time, because the females get in the peak of their ovulation at the worst times in the world. They get it on snow days, they get it on rain days, they get it on holidays, on Sundays.
Sunday.
Yeah, so it's like
Sunday.
It's really
Sunday
hard to get the
seems to be the
semen
day.
here at the perfect time if it's coming
Right.
from out of state or out of town. So to have at least a backup plan, if not a first string stud here to use, is ideal for sure.
Drippy Smooth got a question for you. He's saying, Money Mike, would you build your kennel before or after you get your girls?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, man, that's a really good question. So I kind of like, as long as you have a place for the dogs, in my opinion, man, I think you need to start somewhere that you can grow from. You don't want to be $150,000 into this huge facility and this slab and this building and, temperature controlled, and you got all this going on. You got invested in 4 females and you haven't made $1. You got no network. You don't even know if you can breed successfully. You don't know if it's really for you, and you're all in already. So it's kind of, it's okay to get a couple of dogs to start, but I would get the ball rolling and try to get some traction and make some things happen, start showing a little bit, start training a little bit, get some things in motion before you get $100,000 in. In most cases.
Let me counter that, Mike. Let me just be fair. Let me be fair. I get what you're saying. You don't want to be so far in that then you're kind of hamstrung. If you got 3 females and one of them is not turning out, you're not going to be able to pivot now. You're already 150 in the hole. I get that. I'm going to tell y'all right now, my kennel area was built with my wife and my hands. All right. She did most of the welding because I can't be around the gases, the metal gases for welding or anything like that. I can tell you the 6 new kennels that we built cost us a total of $2,500. And it's completely temperature controlled.
Yeah.
It's got everything. Right. I will also tell y'all this, and I'm glad Mike, I'm making an interlude on purpose because I feel that this is what I can best attribute to this conversation. I can tell you right now, when I first started out, I got $45,000 and bought dogs with $45,000. That's what I did at the time. Okay. That's when I started. Fast forward to me now. And now I will tell you, I may still spend $45,000, but the amount that I was paying originally for every single dog which was averaging somewhere around $6 or $7 a pop, that wouldn't be what I'm spending now. I have dogs right now that are going to be bred that cost me $3,500. Period.
I guess to further explain, I guess it depends on whether or not from the start you're able to get facilities, or if you need to make some profits off the dogs to even be able to do that. If you have the money, it'd be great to have a facility first. That way you can grow into it.
Yes.
If you can't afford that and you need to make, have a litter or 2, to keep that ball rolling that way, then I'd say just start with a couple of dogs and grow into it there. But yeah, ideally, man, if you could have a facility with a little bit of extra room in it, you have your existing dogs and then you have some slots to fill. I think that would be a good place to start too.
Ricardo Camarena says, I have my kennel. It's a good setup, ready for snow and summer. I got from K9 Kennel Store. I'm glad I got it first. All right, Camarena, I'll tell you what. I told y'all we're gonna be spinning the wheel today. Right, Camarena? So this is what we're gonna do, Camarena. I'm going to go ahead and give you a spin. Let's see where it lands. If it lands on, okay, so you got 2 browns. You got Nuvet. You got $100. You got 2 spin agains and a beanie. So, Camarena, this is for you, man, for answering within the scope of the conversation. Oh, there's $100. Man, Camarena, you already got me 100 down. No, that was close. That was close. All right. That was definitely close. So, look, let me tell you something. I just seen a comment by Kyle, out of all people, and I think it's a good comment. And he's saying, I would keep them in-house, right? And then you could breed, and then as you breed, you expand. Me personally, again, this is somebody who's been breeding now for 10 years, right? So you can't go off of what I did when I started, because if I was to start now, it's not going to be anything like how I did it then. So let me explain something to you guys. What Kyle is bringing up here, as far as breeding and setting it up at home and then expanding, is what 95% of people out there are going to do, right? Here is something that I was taught a very, very long time ago. And what I was taught was, if you're not going to go in with everything you got, then don't go in at all. That doesn't mean do not manage your money, do not just jump off a cliff. Doesn't mean any of that. What it does mean is this. I just recently expanded my facilities. I have been kicking myself in the head for the last month and a half since I expanded my facilities as to why I didn't do that in the very first place. Why is it? Because now I have close to 3,000 square feet now of concrete, right? Where whelping a litter by gating the area is so easy for me. Whereas before we had these inside kennels, and it's because you're going for the most economical and the thing that's making most sense. I'm out here changing out wood shavings 3, 4, 5 times a day. If you got puppies, you're going to be changing wood shavings out more times than you could even think of. We then went from the wood shavings. We went to the pads. Same stuff. All right. And then the pads, they're purposefully made so they don't fit the tray. So you got to put 2 pads in each tray. You start figuring out the math, and each one of these pad boxes that you get, let's say you get maybe about 100 of them for about $45, $50. You start doing the math and you're realizing you're going through an entire box within 3 or 4 days, because these little puppies, they're peeing and pooping machines, guys, machines. I've never seen 1 pound of food go in and 8 pounds of food or waste come out on the other end.
It's really hard to factor in how much they really use the bathroom until you've had to, until you're in the house with it, or in a place where you have to have pads or shavings down. It's hard to manage.
Well, here's a secret to that too. Let me tell you, people don't realize this, but you have a higher incidence of 2 things. First, an allergic reaction by the puppies, because I get the wood shavings is the next best thing of them being on the ground, but it's not the most hygienic. Secondly, it actually suppresses the puppy's immune system, because everything they're breathing in microscopically that's coming in has to now be recognized by the body, searched, figured out, and make sure it's not going to affect the puppy in any way, shape, or form. right?
Right.
So a lot of times you'll have puppies that have a suppressed immune system and also showing allergies or skin conditions within, having wood shavings. Am I against wood shaving? No. I'm just glad that I am no longer in that step of evolution for me. That because we were able to expand facilities, now I'm literally able to have pups on concrete and not necessarily on wood shavings. Don't get me wrong, there's wood shavings inside of the little house that they're in. We got a little red light, make sure they're temperature controlled. That's fine. I'm talking about the peeping and pooping that they're doing on the outside. Okay. Now, why is it also really important, right? That I rather go with the facility first if I had to start all over again. I'm going to tell you right now, there are several things that I, as a breeder, will prioritize, and you will too. And it's going to be puppy hygiene, right? That's going to be first and foremost. Why is that? Because if you have a puppy that's around filth long enough, what ends up happening is the pads in their little paws will actually blister. And once it blisters, it's permeable, right? So there's fluid that may come out and bacteria or viruses or whatever that can get in. So that's the first thing that can actually be affecting your pups. Could actually even be killing them. Have you ever had a litter of pups and they all look great, and within a week, one of them out of the blue just dies? More times than not, that's either a bacterial or a viral infection.
Yeah, I can say from my experience that I just had here that if they get any kind of little nick or any kind of, and you almost can't keep the puppy's nails cut enough to not have them sharp because they're so narrow anyway. And then they just, they just paw around on each other so much. I had one get an irritated fingernail, and anything that it touched, it was really hard to keep it out of it. And the other thing I was going to say is the pads. The mamas don't like the pads. So
no, they'll rip them up.
Yeah, when they want to take care of the pups, they start doing this, and what you get it all nice and neat and laid out and pretty in there, and mom comes in there and wads it all up, and then you're tripping over yourself. So, but yeah, their immune systems crash so easy. That toenail of that puppy, it caused that puppy to go. Like I came in and the puppy was lethargic, and starting to get like out of it, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? Looked over the dog really good. That toenail had got irritated. We ended up having to take measures pretty seriously then, and we're able to recover that pup. But just that little bitty, it wasn't even a cut. It was just like an irritated fingernail. And it took that puppy to the edge of life.
But you got to realize they're born with a immature immune system. So anything that looks tiny to you, for them is huge. Also, realize this. Think about this. You have a 4-week-old puppy, and for 2 weeks, he has something going on his nail. That's a third of his life. We can't comprehend that because we're so far along. That's a third of, up to that point, it's a third of his life that an infection is going up against a suppressed immune system. So this is why being on top of puppies and hygiene is going to be primordial in your breeding program. Not only that, for your females. Now, I know what everybody's going to say. Well, you got to have hygiene for your females, and definitely you do. But if you're thinking pyometria is not going to happen, even though you got everything clean, you have another thing coming. You see, pyometria, yes, true enough, you're going to need bacteria in the vaginal tract to eventually make it up to the uterus and infect the female. We get that, okay? But the main contributor is not even that bacteria. It's the female's hormones. Female's hormones is going to make the uterus lining thicken. And the more it makes it thicken, the more odds you're going to have of having pyometria. Pyo means pus or infection, and metria means uterus or matriz, uterus, right? So uterine infection or pyometria, right, is usually caused because it is forced upon the female herself due to hormones. So let me give you all an understanding. So in a gray wolf colony somewhere in a pack, the only two that are going to breed in a perfect world is going to be the alpha male and the alpha female. The betas are going to be around the alpha female. And when she pees and she lets out estrogen, they're going to smell it and they're going to go into a false pregnancy. And the reason they go into a false pregnancy is nature's way of guaranteeing the life of this particular breed or this particular species, because you're going to have 4 or 5 surrogate mothers, right, that are going through a false pregnancy, and they're going to be able to have milk and everything for the puppies to drink, so that if something happens to the mama dog, she dies when giving birth, or even after giving birth, she has to go hunt, right? She has to go eat. If something were to happen where she dies, there's going to be 4 or 5 moms that are going to be able to give milk. But here's the problem with those 4 or 5 moms. Every time they go through a cycle that they don't have puppies, the uterus gets damaged every single period. This leads us to a debate. When I first started breeding, right, I don't recall right now if it was the ABKC or the UKC, but one of the two, their main recommendation on their page was breed your female 4 times consecutively and then spay.
Yeah, that was ABKC.
And you would be like, what? What are they talking about? No, they know what they're talking about. What they're saying is you grab a female as a breeding age and you breed them 4 times in a row and then you spay. And the reason you breed her 4 times in a row is because if you breed her 2 times and then you skip the 3rd time and then you come here, that uterus is still going to be damaged every single time, regardless if she gets pregnant or not. In fact, the older she goes without getting pregnant, the more complications you're going to have. And more than likely, there's a higher chance of her developing pyometria. But my floors are clean. Yeah, I know they are. But I've said 100 million times, female reproduction is here in the head. This is why you'll go out in the street, you'll see a street dog with 15 puppies, and you're like, how the hell did that happen? I've bred my girl twice and she hasn't taken. Well, it's rather simple. That street dog is free. She doesn't have to ask permission of anything. She walks out, she does whatever she wants. That burden on their mind where they can only stay within a limited area or all that good stuff, that doesn't affect them. And in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why they're doing so well, because they're in a mental space that no dog that is in a home could understand until they're there, right? Just advantages and disadvantages. Let me catch up here with comments. Money Mike and his doggies are about to move into their own house. Except for pressure, he gets to stay inside with mom. Everything they breathe in will affect the embark test, says Rio Grande. No, that will not affect the embark test. It will affect their immune system. So, you know, whenever you have puppies in an area and the sunlight's coming in and you're seeing the bunches of tiny little dust particles in the air, that's not good. That means that they have to be fighting off not only what they're stepping on, but what they're breathing, right? Another reason you want to stay away from wood shavings, if you can, is because wherever they step, okay, a puppy might have stepped on poop 20 minutes ago, okay? Don't think that because 20 minutes passed that paw is now clean. That paw is dirty. Now, we all know what puppies love to do, especially when they see a food bowl or a water bowl. They like to go ahead and stick their paws in there, right? Trying to claim it, trying to get position. So do yourself a favor. If you must have wood shavings, make sure you're feeding your puppies water in a water bottle, okay? Do not let them put them dirty paws in a water bowl, even if it's for a second. That's the fastest way you're going to get a full-blown coccidia infection. You know, all sorts of infections that are going to be caused by that simple mishap. And it increases the probability whenever you have wood shavings, because as we know, the wood shaving is going to wrap around the poop, and you could step on it and not even know you stepped on it, you know, a couple of times because it's so wrapped up in there. So just want to throw that out there. Let's see. It is easier for them on concrete because it is tied onto the septic. You can wash it down with the hose. Yes, this is true. But here's the more important part that I want you to comprehend. Because we have a system and a routine. So I'll head out there first thing in the morning. I'm washing away poop. Literally within 5 minutes, there's nothing on the concrete. Okay, I'll then throw something on there, brush it with my brush, then wash it off again. Okay, but my whole point is their exposure to the poop is minimal. They're in an area that's 18 by 40. They may poop, you know, 2 or 3 times during the night. It gets washed away early in the morning. They're not near it. They're not exposed to it. They don't step on it. They don't play with it. You see what I'm saying? They have
a lot more room to get away from it.
Yes. Whereas I still have cages right now in my garage because I still have to crop ears. Big Poppy is going to get his ears cropped. So he's going to have to go in there, unfortunately. And what we have is these cages where right below they have these where you put the pads, right? You're able to, you know, push them in and pull them back out. Well, the problem you have with those cages, first of all, they're very difficult to clean inside of a garage. Unless that's all you got in the garage, then that's no problem. You can move it around. But once you have certain things in place, it's kind of hard to just move that out to be able to wash it. So washing is gonna, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it becomes that much more difficult. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I have noticed that when puppies are in those cages, they have a harder time. Now, these pups are a little bit older now, but when they're younger, they have a harder time developing their rear, okay, because they don't need it as much. Not only that, they're walking on metal bars, so they can't really put all their weight the way that they normally would, say, on concrete, okay? So this is why, if you was to ask me what's one thing I would do different, I would have set up the facility. I would have set up maybe not a full-blown 6 kennels, probably be lying to you, probably start out with 4 and have a whelping facility area where it's well planned, where, you know, my puppies poop can't be on the ground for more than an hour or 2 before it gets cleaned up. You see what I'm saying? And that's just phenomenal. It makes everyone's life easier. I've whelped plenty of litters. I have never had it as easy as I've had it this time around. So that's one thing. Also, on the male and female side of it, I would say if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably do it how I did my pivot. So how'd you do your pivot? I'm going to tell you how I did my pivot. I did my pivot. I brought in females such as, here you go, my girl Sunshine, right? I brought in my girl, right? I have 2 more girls. Let me see if I got their pictures up here. I don't. Okay, I'll make sure I have them up for next week. We have our girl Twix. We have our girl Tisha, who's off of Grand Champion 7. Now, these females, they're basically my staple. I'm sorry, my stables, what I'm looking at. Now, I have Ali. I have Daisy Duke. I have dogs that I have access to, that I'm, have co-owned to. But in my yard, that is my stable. Now, if you look at what I just did, I also brought in, right? I also brought in this little dude right here, little old Blueberry, right? Make no mistake about it. Little old Blueberry ain't here to be cute or to play a funny song. Blueberry's here because he's about to change some things within my yard, right? Now, mind you, everything, comes in steps. But I'm saying all that to say, if I can start out with 3 or 4 females and have one male that I believe in, okay, that's good to start out. Even though I know that I may be studying out with other males, I want to keep this male in house because he's going to be progressing my inline, the blood I got in house. Is going to be getting progressed through him. Whatever I need from the outside, that's what I'm going to be getting studying to my females. If that makes any sense, okay. In the past, I probably would have told you just get yourself 4 females and 2 males and start it out that way. I've evolved. I feel just 1 male, get yourself 4 females, and you can stud. Now, with that being said, Mike also said something that's really important. Studying is a pain in the ass. When the dog is not here, even if the stud owner does everything they're supposed to, even if they ship it when they have to, it's a pain in the ass. And I'm going to tell you why.
Big time. Big
you
time.
have
tell us all the reasons why, because there's a bunch.
Well, but here's the main one. You have no control when your bitch decides that she is 100% ready to go. You have no control. So here's where the variables start coming in. So you have a dude over there that you either paid or you got to pay for him to ship the sperm to you. You got to hope that weekend is not like 4th of July weekend or Memorial Day weekend and he's got plans over there, right? Like
or any other federal holiday that you can't get shipped.
Right. Then normally FedEx will ship every single day for except on Sundays, right? I take it back. You can ship on Friday for Saturday delivery. That's it. You can't ship Saturday for Sunday delivery, right? So why am I bringing up Sunday? Because if your female decides that Sunday's the day that she's going to let it out, that means that you need to make a call on Friday, early morning on Friday, whether your bitch is going to be ready on Sunday. And that's a hard call because your bitch on Friday may be at I don't know, let's call it an 11. And now you're like, okay, she's at an 11. I figure she'll be a 13 by tomorrow and a 15 by the day after. Is she really? And nobody knows, right? So now you're stuck at making a call on Friday. Do I have them ship for me Saturday? Hold the sperm for an additional, 12, 10 hours until it's Sunday, and then hit her. Do you really want to do that?
Or are you waiting and you can't ship Sunday either?
Or you wait till Monday for them to ship so you can get it on Tuesday. And by then she may be at a 20. So hold up. Now I know there's some people right now yelling at the TV. What about Southwest Airlines? Oh yeah, we're going to get to that here in a minute. We're going to get into Southwest Airlines in a minute. Now, did you know that you can actually ship, right? Airport to airport, right? Through Southwest Airlines. So say you have your stud is in North Carolina and you need it to be shipped today. They can make it happen to where it's shipped today if it's early enough from North Carolina right here to Houston or up there to Dallas or Little Rock where Mike is at. All right. They can make that happen. As far as their fees, you're going to have to contact Southwest Airlines. I'm not going to jump into all that, but I do know you have to set up an account. You got to have everything ready. It's not the same day. We're just going to go there and this is going to happen. It doesn't work that way. You got to have it ready. But for those of you that don't know, you can use Southwest Airlines and that will help because say you had a bitch that you weren't sure and you have the machines and everything like I do and you're able to test her, say, Sunday morning, they're able to ship Sunday morning and you're going to get it Sunday evening and she's ready to go. So just a heads up on that. We got a lot of We got a lot of questions, man. Let me start. Preach. All right. Good evening. All right. I'm just going to go quick. What's up, Raul? Waiting on the wristbands. La bendiciones, hermano. Jay's Bullies Inc. You did not get them. Do me a favor. Rewrite to Kyle and have him remind me. Give me your address again. I'll reship them, man. Rio Grande. Also remember pads. Shaving can trap coccidiosis. Yes. Amoebas. Yes. Your female can tolerate, but not the puppies. It's something you don't see. It can kill the whole litter. Yes, I'm also glad she brought this up. Okay, so yes, I already spoke about coccidia. And coccidia is going to be in the poop. And it's when the puppy's paw, gets in the water or gets in the food and they consume it. That's how they're going to get coccidia. But here is a kicker. For those of you that want to reuse the female that just had puppies, you want to make sure that this said female is not inside of a container or anywhere where you're keeping the puppies with wood shavings. I strongly recommend that you do not keep her where you're keeping the puppies with the wood shavings. Think about it for a minute. These moms that gave birth, they're tired. They want to go to sleep. They'll lay on their side. There could be poop. There could be urine already every and anywhere, wherever that wood shaving is. And if it touches up with her private parts, you could be dealing, you could be the one causing the pyometria rather easily. Pyometria is going to happen 2 to 8 weeks after the female gave birth. 2 to 8 weeks. You know why? Because the uterus is going to be wide open because it's going to be trying to clean itself. That's that muck you see coming out, the meconium. Okay, it's cleaning itself. But in the process of cleaning itself, it is open.
It's vulnerable.
So that vaginal tract, if your female squats, say, in a puddle of water and that puddle of water has poop in it, guess what? She might just gave herself coccidia in the uterus. You're going to have to spay her. So my whole point is
it's vulnerable in that at that time. Yeah.
The best thing to do with pregnant bitches that you have, if you can, the most sanitary thing to do is have it to where they could jump onto something where they can lay down and chill because they don't have to be giving milk 24/7, right? And when it's time to give milk, they come down to the cleanest possible environment. In our case, we use kiddie pools. We get 3 kiddie pools per pregnancy, right? One, that's where the puppies and the mom is on. We got 2 clean ones, one drying and the other one just finished getting cleaned. And anything that happens, anything that gets dirty, we're now switching them just like that. No big deal. Okay.
We decided to go with a like it's epoxy, but it's I dare say rubberized, something like you would put in a mechanic shop. So it's non-absorbent and you can squeegee it. It's not porous at all and easy to clean, and it's non-slip. And we're gonna put that on the floor in our new facility. Yep, I'm gonna start messing with that this week.
Whatever works, bro. And that sounds like it would work very well, actually. We got Drippy saying, what advice would you have for a new breeder who bought a female and a stud starting QBN and Money Mike? I understand your question, Drippy. I guess if Mike and I bought a female and a stud, I'm not sure what your question is. We're trying to answer it. We're trying to give you insight as to what we would do. Hold on. Kyle's going to bring in his translative prowess.
Yeah, I'm a translator. They're just asking you as, hey, QBN and Money Mike, what bring up the question again?
Hold on, man. I just lost it, bro. Here it goes. What advice would you
What advice were you give a new breeder who had bought a female and a stud starting out? Like, what advice would either one of y'all?
Okay, that's why he put out over here. Okay, got you.
Yes.
Well, look, man, I think the advice that we're giving is don't go and get a male and a female. Like literally, that would probably be the one thing I would tell you not to do. I would more look. I'm not saying you can't do that and be successful, so I don't want to be misinterpreted either. It can be done. But if you're asking me my recommendation, I would say 2 or 3 females and a male. Not a female and a male. If I only had money for 2 dogs, it would be 2 females.
Thanks.
It wouldn't. It's not even a question, you know. So that's my best answer for that. Let me catch up to these comments. I'm sorry, guys. I'm jumping a little bit here. Let's see. Insurata, not been able to get my XLs pregnant, but my classics took right away. Yeah, XL females, they can become complicated. And the longer they go without getting pregnant, more complicated. Now, let me tell you guys this, because I feel like as I evolve is important, I share this with you. You guys know full well I have been, I would say for the better part of the last 4 or 5 years, I've been saying don't breed your bitch until it's completely ethical on her 3rd heat. I've been saying that, all right? And I will tell you, me, Raul from QBN Kennel, will begin a pivot on that particular statement. And the reason I'm beginning a pivot is because whether the female gets pregnant or not, every time she has a heat, her uterus gets damaged. The probability of pyometria goes up, okay, every time she does it. So for all intents and purposes for us here, I'm going to start breeding my females on their 2nd heat, roughly at 18 months of age. That's what we're going to start doing. You know, these dogs, they're expensive. They're expensive to upkeep. We do have a program that is self-sustaining. If we continue to wait until 3rd heat before we do anything, we feel we're shooting ourselves in the foot, because we're already setting a precedence for that female's body to not be prepared to give birth. She's supposed to be more prepared to be a surrogate mother, and that's not what we're trying to do. So I'm putting it out there, so when you hear me speaking on this, I don't want to hear you say, oh, but I heard you say, yeah. I bet if I turn the clock back 5 years, you were saying something back then that you're not saying now, right? So we all evolve, and this is part of the evolution. And so I just want to make sure that we go ahead.
I'm really glad you said that, because I think it's good for people to know that on any level, this is an ever evolving thing. You know, and even Raul is still growing and learning and developing his craft and developing, you know, his approach and gathering knowledge and still, you know, evolving. And that's something that if you're doing this right, you should do that always. You should always be growing and evolving and learning and finely tuning what you're doing. And it should continue to change. And it's good to see that. It's good for people to see. I think that, you know, that at any level that still goes on.
You know, Mike, irregardless, I will tell you guys one thing that will be a constant for me is I would have been feeding my dogs Nuvet, the green bottle, and NuJoint DS, regardless whether I'm starting with a male or starting out with a female. It is made at human food grade level, 100% natural. It's going to keep your dog from going to the vet. It's going to consume more food than you're already feeding. It's going to keep away dietary easty westy. It's going to help regulate all sorts of hormones to include reproduction. Therefore, Nuvet NuJoint DS will be the one thing that I would do exactly the same. Drippy is saying QBN is starting out with new breeders. 4 girls could be expensive. Trying to stud out. That's fair. What's the budget you recommend having to start out with a 4-girl, 1-stud program, including buying the dogs? All right. So let me tell you all right now, in my mind, I feel that if $3,500 would probably be tops, I would be paying for a dog, probably $4,000 if it's that one dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to allow $500 to ruin a good deal. If I see a dog that it's a must-have, then I'll go up to $4,000. I would purposefully budget myself this way because it would force me to have to do my homework rather than, oh, we're just going to throw money at it. If it's $8,000, then I'm just going to buy it because it's $8,000. No, that's the fastest way to get your ass caught on the door. You set up a budget, say $3,500, and instead of buying 4 females, this is what I would do. Start out with 2. That's $7,000. You got another $14,000, right? All right. Shove that to the side. All right. Use that on your studs. Use that on your studs.
You can find a decent enough female for in that price range. You know, there are dogs that cost more than that are worth more than that. But you know, you should be able to find a good starting point in that price range for sure.
For sure. For sure. I'm telling you guys this right now, guys. I'm not trying to shoot on a big breeder's foot. It's no fault of their own that their line has grown. But not all big breeders got the best dogs out there. In fact, I've seen some small breeders kicking some serious big breeder butts out here. All right. So if you just know what you're looking for, I mean, look at QBN. Look at QBN for a second, right? Think about this for a second, right? When I brought up this dude right here, right? Ain't nobody and their sister really knew who he was. He's not the most popular dog out there. All right. But being able to know what you're looking at, being able to know that this is a 1 in a million dog, that's where it all comes down to. You as the breeder, what you got here and how you're going to put it together so you can get somewhere. Don't think for a minute that you're just going to come here and, hey, Mike's wearing a white hat, so I'm going to wear a white hat too. Oh, he's wearing a gray shirt, so I'm going to wear a gray shirt too. The minute you start doing that, Mike and me are going to start looking like 2 sheep, right? The way you go about doing this, like any other business, is QBN is going to stand out from Mike, and Mike is going to stand out from QBN. What does Mike give you? Well, Mike, I don't know, man. Mike can give you X, Y, Z. QBN, I can give you A, B, C, right? But I'm not trying to be like Mike, and Mike's not trying to be like me, right? We're trying to stand out on our own 2 feet. That's really important.
Ask me 3 things that I think is just imperative as building a program and being a breeder. You've got to be willing to stand on your own mind, on your own decisions of you've got to be objective about what you have and what you don't have. You have to be able to say, I'm lacking these things. Yes. I need to bring in these things. I don't have these things, these breed types, these different things, right? And you need to look at what you honestly have. Never mind the hype. Never mind that. You need to know what you have and be able to accept it. And accept what direction you need to go, what your next best move is. You also need to be able to pick puppies, because you might do a breeding and get the best puppies. It could be the best puppy in the world, and you give it away because you don't know which one to pick. And then somebody else has got your best production.
That's the biggest thing a breeder must be able to do. I'm going to tell you this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mike. Your ability to pick puppies. Let me explain something to you. When you learn how to pick puppies, or at least you learn of what it is that you're looking for, it really opens up your potential. Mm-hmm. Because here at QBN, I might have 4 litters in a year. That doesn't mean I won't go over to your end and pick your best puppy out because you don't know better.
That's right.
It is what it is. If you're selling the pup and I feel it's the best puppy or what I'm looking for is there, I'm going to take it and bring it to my program 100%. And make it work. Did I produce it? No. Is it going to help kick your ass? Absolutely it will. So your ability to be able to pick the right pups, out of 10 times, I'm not picking 10 perfect pups. It's not going to happen. But if I could hit 7 of 10, I'm money. If you're
Right.
hitting 7 out of 10, you're in a very good track. In fact,
Yeah.
even if you're hitting 6 out of 10, you're actually doing pretty well.
Yes.
All right.
So I would say, yeah. So objective, right? If I was going to put them in order, I would put being able to pick puppies is the most important thing in this whole business, right? But being objective about what you have and don't have, and what you need and don't need, very important with your own mind. And then I would say that anytime you do get gains, there needs to be development on your camp. If you're having litters, if you're doing things, you need to be growing with each move. If somebody's building something, and with each passing litter, with each stud, with each different thing that they're getting traction on, their camp should be growing, their program should be developing. And if you can do those three things, you can get down with the best of them. But you got to be able to use your own mind with it, because somebody will take you on a ride.
The breeder's mind is what makes the kennel. Period.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't care who you are. What your vision is and how you're going to go about doing it, and knowing how to pick the right dogs for it, is what's going to make or break you. So if you could grab me now and take me back 10 years, of course I'm going to be making better decisions because I have all this experience in front of me. But at the end of the day, it's going to boil back down to, can you pick the right pups?
Mm-hmm.
Can you match them up so that you know, okay, I'm matching this up. I know that this is going to be hybrid vigor. What is hybrid vigor? Hybrid vigor is when you get the color white and the color black, you put them together and you get this beautiful gray. This amazing gray. It's better than the black and better than the white. But guess what? It'll never be able to reproduce itself gray. But there are times that you need that, because you may have other dogs within that line. So even though that appears to be hybrid vigor, once you bring it back to the line that it already is in, it's just going to improve. It's going to grow its koi, a coefficient of inbreeding. So all these terms I'm throwing at you are terms that I would want to learn before I would even get into breeding. We talk a lot about that here on our lives and in our videos. I suggest, whether you're looking to get into breeding yourself or you have a friend or a family member, you recommend this video. Give us a like, give us a share, and give us a comment, because we're one of the few platforms out here that's going to speak on this. And I'm going to say this without knocking on anybody else, but you're going to notice we're going to speak on this without a phone, without, AI, without none of that. It's all coming from here because we've experienced it. And that's the biggest difference. Anybody could be out here talking to you, and while I'm talking to you, I could have AI telling me to say this, to say that. And pretty soon, that's what we're all going to have. But when the fit hits the shan and you need something fixed, you better know who to go to and who's got the experience, rather than who's just reading off of a screen. It's two different animals, right? Everybody wants to call themselves a soldier until the bullets start to fly. Then all of a sudden, some of us want to, reconsider the term soldier is applicable, right? Mm-hmm. Bottom line. Let me see. Sean Wheeler, when are you picking out? Dogs, is the temperament important to you? Because that's what's the most important thing to me. Listen, temperament, even though I may not say it, it's probably the most important thing. And I'm going to tell you why right now. If I had a puppy that was born, that was aggressive from the moment he was born, and he was giving me the wrong signs that he's aggressive, that pup will be put down. He will not be going to anybody's home or any of that. I will sit there and reanalyze the pairing, see where the aggressiveness came out of the two, and whoever it was, it's getting eliminated. I'm not out here to reproduce any type of aggressive behavior or anything crazy like that.
Temperament's so important that it's that's why it doesn't get mentioned, because it's automatic. It's non-negotiable. Like, correct. I don't even bend or flex with that at all. You know what I mean? It's got to have great temperament, period.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's almost like, going to buy a car and there's a 3-wheel car. They all got to have 4 wheels. If they got 3, it ain't gonna fly, right?
Yeah.
Drippy's saying Hollywood. Oh, my bad. Nadine says you guys set the blueprint, but it's up to the breeder to tailor it to what they're trying to produce. I don't know if I agree with that 100%, Nadine, because in this community, everybody wants to tailor it to something that doesn't look like anything that the standard is. It's all about chase me now. I'm hype. I'm hot right now. Come get it. And, you know, I can tell you there was a lot of dogs that were sold during COVID that in 2023 and 2024, people were trying to give away and trying to sell. Real big line, big name. Oh, this is Gucci, Bugatti, blah, 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 beep, boop, boop. Give me $1,000 for it, please. I want to get out of this, right? So this is why it's important that you realize that you can put whatever name you want in front of a dog. If it looks like shit, smells like shit, it's shit. I don't care what name is behind it.
That's right.
If it looks good, if it shines like gold, if it's amazing when you look at it, I could care less what name you got behind it. I'm just keeping it real with you. Drippy says, Hollywood, what I mean is going to be hard for new breeders starting out now. And we not bringing up when you do a stud female and she don't take the monies out the door. That's right. And Drippy brings up a very good point. When you're studding to studs, here's the problem you got. If your female doesn't take, that stud owner, he pretty much has you firmly grabbed. He pretty much has your bank account firmly in his pocket, because he could then say, well, we're going to charge you for whatever, or my dog won't be available because I have another studying next time, you need them or whatever. That's where things start getting complicated, is when your female doesn't take that first time. That's when things can actually start becoming a little dicey. Fredia says, exactly, you have to know what you're breeding and how to do that. Know what you need for your yard. Knowledge is key. Absolutely. This is where the breeder and his mindset is what determines. I'm going to tell you, Mike hit it on the head a minute ago. If you're a breeder and at any point in time you're able to do this right here and be like, yeah, man, we're here. We're good. Yeah, you just pretty much, that's the moment you pretty much lost. So whenever your ass gets handed to you, the minute you did this and you thought that you were good, that's the moment you lost. As a breeder, there's no moment in time that you could really just sit around and do this right here. That doesn't exist, because you're in constant evolution. Wherever you're at today is better than you were at yesterday, but it's worse than wherever you're going to be tomorrow. This is the mentality that we're always dealing with. So just bear that in mind. We got Prater. So starting with 4 females and 1 male, how you have them all fit into each other phenotypically and genotypically? Like, would 3 females and male match up with genotypes and the last female pheno? Or, okay, I know where you're going with this. So Prater,
that's actually a good question.
The way I did it when I first started is the same way I did it when I pivoted. And this is the key. You need a common denominator. So you go to my girl Sunshine, right? Let me bring her up. You go to Sunshine over here, right? So Sunshine, she has, hold on, okay, she's got Rocco blood in the background. Okay, that's what she has. But so does Girl, right? So Sunshine and Girl, by the way, they're half sisters on the mom side. They also got Lucky Luciano in the background. Okay, so what you do is you then make sure that whatever males you're going to be keeping, like this male here, we know he's got Rocco in the background. In fact, Blueberry here is a Brim grandson, right? And our girl, this girl right here is a Brim daughter. So she is Blueberry's auntie, right? Which it's crazy, right? But she also has that Rocco blood in the background, which Blueberry does. But so too does Sunshine. So too does my girl Tisha. So too does my girl Twix. So just having a common denominator, my friend, that's all you need to start it out with.
And to add to that, not just a common denominator, but think ahead enough to find a common denominator that's the one you want, right? Like that common thread needs to be the thread that you want it to be, and not just some dog that they all have in their pedigree, but like a direction that you're trying to go.
This is correct. You need to, like in my case, let me give you a little bit of insight with me. For me, this right here, she is what I want to produce as an XL. Sunshine. Make no mistake about it. Yes, we're bringing in Hector because definitely I feel he fits her phenotype. He's going to give me more size. Make no mistake about that. But the extreme traits that Sunshine has, all right, along with Hector, because he also carries certain genes that she does, when they get together, they're going to give me something that's going to be synergistic. It's going to be bigger than both of them put together. However, Hector has Lucky Luciano in the background, and so does Sunshine. So I always make sure we have common denominators. I could care less. We could go back 3 generations. That's fine with me. Even 4, if there's inbreeding and line breeding involved. But that's how I do it. I try and make sure that we have common denominators in the background. Adam Fields. So how are we going to bring that to XLs? All right, Adam Fields, that's an excellent question. And I'm going to give you a quick answer. Might not be exactly the answer you're looking for, but it's a quick answer nonetheless. All right, so here's the deal. My girl Sunshine, right? She is double I, right? She's a pocket. She's almost a standard, but all right, she's double I. Our girl, she's NI in the IGF-1. My girl Ali, she's double N, right? Big in the IGF-1. And so too is Hector. He's NN. So when Hector goes into this girl, every puppy will be a double N. When Hector goes into this girl, all puppies are going to be NI. And guess what? Hector already went into girl. And we have 2 males that are both double N, and they look like they're going to be XLs. The rest of the litter looks like they're going to be standards. But it's a tedious process to bring it up, but it can and it will be brought up. The other part of the coin, which I haven't even hit on really, is when we bring Blueberry in, the reason this guy right here is so special is as pocket as he is NI in the IGF-1. He can produce N for big. He can produce I for small. He can produce either. He's a hybrid. That's what he is. All right. Yeah. And that's what he's.
I don't want to say that that's necessarily rare for a pocket to be NI, but it sure isn't common.
No, especially not his size. And then
not in a pocket. Yeah.
What is crazy about him? He's got the 2 low ALT gene. He's got the 2 double short muzzle gene. He's got everything that we're looking for. He's got, and we got it lined up. Now it's just a matter, literally, now it's just the table set. Now it's just playing tic-tac-toe. It's really that simple. Jimmy Herbert says, if I knew how to show you a picture of him, you would not believe how beautiful and obvious he is full-blooded. Oh, I bet, man. I bet. Listen, we did go a little bit over tonight. I hope you guys are not upset because of that. We really wanted to give you a little bit more insight as to how I would go about, how we go about starting over again in 2026. I would definitely, regardless if you're going to start out with however many females and males, I would definitely start out guarded economically. The first 6 months of 2026 are going to be very telling as to what the next year and a half, what the economic landscape is going to be like. So say you got the money to buy 4 females, go ahead and buy 2 and put the money to the side. All right. And see how they develop. If these girls are giving you exactly what you want at the 6 or 8 month mark, it's all right. You don't have to go buy another 2 girls. You can stick it out with these 2, stud them to the right studs, and then keep from there. All right. I'm just trying to set you guys up. So no good live. Don't know what he's talking about. Gyra. I'm just trying to set you guys up so you don't set yourself up for failure. Walk with a lot of caution the starting 6 months of this year. What you got, Kyle?
I thought we were getting off.
Well,
he was saying no.
Is this a formal
he said no, this was a good live. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, because you were saying we're getting off.
I was gonna say, man, like earlier, what you were talking about, hindsight is 20/20, and you coming into this might not be like anybody else. You knew you wanted to do this. You were going in head first. You were going to do this. So yeah, it would have been a lot different for you. And you had that money put aside. You were prepared. You were ready to go. Now, you know more now than you did then, but a lot of these people coming in, they're just now getting into this. They think they want to do it. They don't know if they want to do it. That's why I was saying, get a female that is a pet. Try to breed. You know, if you don't have that much money, try to breed that female with some stud, but put up at least
don't go get yourself a pet. No, hold up. Don't go get yourself a pet.
What I'm saying is have that whatever female, that breed quality female that you're going to get. Either way, if you don't go in the breeding route, you still have a nice American bully. They're good pets regardless, even if you kept it as a pet.
No, they're excellent.
What I'm saying is you would have to have a lot of money and put a lot of money up and do your research to really start out.
Yeah. Kyle, you're absolutely right. This is why I'm saying instead of starting out with 4, save up for 4, but only buy 2. Keep the other money in. Wait until at least summer of 2026. Once you start seeing economic reports that things are getting better, then by all means go buy the 3rd female. But watch your pennies here the first 6 months of the year. It's going to be a little bit telling. But hey, start us out, Hollywood.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue, and we're catching you on the next one.
Miguelito Higginson.
Miguelito, Money Mike, man. Co-host with the most, QBN Kennel out of Arkansas, man. We'll be catching y'all on the next one.
Guys, you already know we do this every Monday at 8 p.m. I hope you learned something tonight. If you have any questions that we didn't answer, go ahead and drop them. I'll be answering first 20 questions after this live is done. Also, first 20 questions, you're getting a free spin on our next live. You might be getting some free Nuvet. It's been Raul from the queue. I'll be catching you on the next one.
We are going for a whole hour, straight dog talk, and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community.